So we've kind of got the opposite to normal today. Everyone seems to have found this movie surprisingly disappointing, whereas I was surprised by how much I loved this one. Welcome to my review of Babylon. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. All of my movie reviews are spoiler free and I will leave a playlist of my recent reviews linked up above. Yes, so I was a little bit skeptical going into this one. You might ask, why did I go and see it then? Basically, I had a Sunday free and I could see 2 or 3 movies on this Sunday. It fitted into my schedule. 3 hours and 9 minutes is the running time of this one. So by the time you add on the trailers, you've got 3.5 hours. So it's quite hard to fit into the schedule. So it's like, it's kind of now or never. I enjoyed the trailer for this one, but I thought it looked quite chaotic. I was right. This film is incredibly chaotic. And quite often you have chaos that's just chaos and is awful. However, I found this chaos quite soothing. The film does have an awful lot of excrement at the beginning. We have lots of different bodily fluids to open the movie with. And so just be pre-warned with that one. Again, no spoilers here. There is a lot of swearing throughout the movie, which you kind of expect based on the trailer, and you kind of expect based around Brad Pitt these days. Think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for length and for Brad Pittness. And then it also has a lot of sex and nudity, and kind of not just your vanilla sex. It has sex of every size and shape imaginable. And then towards the end of the film, there's, a reasonable amount of violence. Not Once Upon a Time in Hollywood level of violence, but there's a reasonable amount of violence. And towards the end, sort of the beginning of the 3rd act or 4th act, however long it is, I would say that the film gets a little bit scary. I did find myself kind of going like this a little bit, kind of covering my ears, because I was waiting for a jump scare to happen and something awful to happen. And there were some jump scares, definitely. But then the film picks back up again. And I've heard a lot of people say that the ending's really weird and the ending's really mixed and the ending doesn't fit the tone of the film. I loved the ending of this film. It made me cry a little bit. It made me think, and I just really enjoyed it. So to kind of people that I've seen since watching the film that have asked me, well, how was it? Is it worth the 3 hours? I think that it felt a little bit like if you took the Netflix Ryan Murphy show Hollywood and you kind of mixed in a little bit of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then you kind of like took the evolution of Singing in the Rain and mixed in just a little bit of now which Chaplin movie is it where he becomes a kind of Hollywood star? Whichever one that is, mix that in there as well. And then adding kind of Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt. Flea is in it. That was quite interesting. Jeff Garland's in it. That was definitely an interesting pick. And then Tobey Maguire drops in being all scary. Last time I saw him, he was being all friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Interesting. So kind of the chaos of all of that mixed in together. And then you've got this like character who has so much heart and just wants to kind of break into the movie business. He wants to be involved in movies in some way because he's just completely captured by the magic of them. So you've got his character Manny and you've got Margot Robbie's character Nellie, and they're kind of both trying to break into the movie business, and they have this bond because they kind of both get their like big break at the same time in very different ways. That all stems from this massive Hollywood party. Now something which struck me and kind of reflects the length of the film is the fact that we don't have the opening title. We don't have the opening, there's no kind of intro. We have the opening title, the title card shown 40 minutes into the film. But then you think about that. You think about the fact that there's still 2.5 hours left of the film. And that's a reasonable time to have the intro card, the title card put in there. Yes, so I really like these characters who had a lot of heart. I have watched Mark Commode's review of this one before putting my thoughts together, and he says, you know, Margot Robbie's been given another character which is like Harley Quinn, like her I, Tonya character, but I really disagree. For Margot Robbie's character in this film, I was kind of getting shades of like the Sharon Tate character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really liked her. I thought she had heart. I thought she was genuine. And it was almost giving me a little bit of like Emma Stone in Cruella as well. And I really liked her because of that. And I loved the relationship that her character had with the character of Manny. They had this like pure, or we're doing this at the same time, we're both really pleased for each other, we both want the best for each other friendship going on. And I loved watching the evolution of that over the course of the film. Now, a lot of aspects of this film do mimic Singing in the Rain, so I really, really want to watch Singing in the Rain again now. And we kind of see a little bit of Singing in the Rain popping up over the course of the film, even though the film does start in the 1920s. And then Brad Pitt's character is really interesting. He's almost a little bit like Leo's character in Once Upon a Time in America. And he's, you know, riding high at the beginning of the film. And then as films become, you know, talkies, we see the jazz singer and then go into like colour. It's really interesting watching how his character adapts to that, having come from that silent film, this is the painted backdrop kind of era. And his character is really funny and but again has quite a lot of heart. And this is the point where I always feel like Brad Pitt is overrated, and I think I probably said that in my review of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He kind of pops up in various things and I'm a bit like, oh, they've just thrown Brad Pitt in this just to, you know, hope to get some Oscar nominations or hope to get some buzz around the film, like what's it, The Lost City with Sandra Bullock. But I think he did a really good job in this film. The fact that his kind of character has to act and play all these other characters and then he has to then be this other character in the film, and going through this evolution of Hollywood and seeing these new people, and then his character has these interactions with Manny and Nellie as well, and I really like that about it. There's definitely chaos there, but I found the chaos really exhilarating, and I found the chaos almost like escapism and soothing. And so where Mark Kermode said, you know, it's just chaos for chaos sake and there's no beauty in the chaos, I think the complete opposite. I really liked the chaos. I found it very exhilarating. For a 3-hour 9-minute film, I wasn't checking my watch. I wasn't like, oh, you know, when can I leave? Like, what's going on here? And for a film with such chaos as well, I did follow the storyline as we were going along. I thought it had heart. I liked the fact that it kind of showed a bit of evolution of Hollywood, and I liked the fact that it mimicked what was going on in Singing in the Rain. I also like the fact that these stars are obviously based on real people in Hollywood and real stars in Hollywood. Jeff Garlin's character in particular, definitely based in and around real people. And real Hollywood stars are mentioned as well. And so I like that Hollywood glitz and glamour. And I really loved the ending. I think none of the reviews I've seen have liked the ending. I loved the ending and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the way it was edited. I loved the music as well. I thought the music was quite it did a really good job of evoking the feeling in each scene, and it was quite stressful, that like mimicked the chaos. There was some chaotic music in there. There was a lot of jazz in it as well, which was really uplifting. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So if you've got 3 hours to spare, I think this one is worth seeing on the big screen. My opinion is this is a good movie, and I would pay my cinema going money to go and see it again. In fact, it was playing in iSense, and I kind of wish that I'd seen it in iSense to see it on the bigger screen. I think that would have been good to see. But yeah, I really recommend it, and I really enjoyed it. And I recommend that you should pay your cinema going money to go and see it. So as always, if there is another film coming up that you want me to go and see in cinemas and review to you here, then let me know in comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on my bookish content in the week. And I will see you with my movie review next weekend. Thanks again for watching.